Tuesday, January 20th, 2026, is 1 p.m.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, actually, mine says Friday, January 20th.
That's how it is.
I know, but that's okay. Okay, if y'all would stand with me, Commissioner Pelletier, will you do the invocation? And Commissioner Avery, please lead the pledge.
Lord, we thank you for allowing us to gather today, and we pray for your guidance in making decisions for our citizens and our city. We thank you for our first responders, and we ask that you bless them and their families, keep them safe, and let them go home at the end of their shift. We thank you for our citizens and our employees that make Callaway a great place to be, and we pray you bless them with peace and success. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
City Clerk, please do a roll call.
Commissioner Birdsell?
Here.
Commissioner Griggs?
Here.
Commissioner Pelletier?
Yep.
Commissioner Ayers?
Here.
Mayor Henderson?
Here. Okay, as far as public participation, since I think we have technically 2 members of the public here, so we're gonna be a little more lenient. So we're just kind of play it by ear as long as we can't let somebody just talk for an hour. We'll be a little more lenient than typically with public participation, if that's all right with the rest of the commission.
No problem.
So we will go on to our regular agenda item. It's item number 1, 2045 Comprehensive Plan Update, and I assume Mr. Greer. How do y'all want to approach this today? Do you just want to kind of highlight the changes, or, what would y'all like?
I think we gotta go through it, because this is just breezing over it. It's got all the little things.
Well, but I mean, do we need to go through the changes, is what I'm saying.
Oh.
We went through the whole document in the last one. Do we want to just kind of focus on the changes that were made?
I don't care, I'm happy with the whole thing. Doesn't matter, whatever you all want.
Well, I didn't know if we had to, go through it page by page by page again.
We
since
did it before.
We've covered
I
that.
just have one question for Ray.
Okay.
Did everything we talked about at the last meeting, you've already made those changes?
Yes, and we did.
Then,
Yes, we got the new packet.
Did you get also the?
got that.
And so we listed all the changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've only seen a couple of small things and everything.
Yeah, I saw one thing on page 6. There were 2, it said 1.1.11. It was items H and I. The spacing was crazy in the lines, and that was something that was gonna get corrected, and it didn't. That was the main thing I saw that didn't get changed.
Yeah, with the spacing, so until I, take the strike through underline off, even if I fix it, it's liable to come back somewhere else. Because
Okay,
I gotta take the strike through underline off, and then we're gonna have to format everything space-wise on the clean copy, because that can't happen until after we adopt it and the state approves it.
Okay.
Then I give it back to you in a clean version.
okay.
But we'll fix this, the weird spacing.
Ray, just out of curiosity, once it goes to state paper and it comes back to us, if something is found, what does it take to change?
So,
Does it have to go back to the state? Unless, if it's not substantial.
so this is, next week is a transmittal hearing. So we will transmit it to the state for review, and go to all the state agencies, and they'll review it. They'll send it back with an ORC report, and they'll list anything, and this is all they do, but they'll list anything they find that, they have questions, or they want changed, or it's not consistent with statute. They'll list them, and then we come back, I'll make the changes, we'll adjust it, then we come back to you. To the commission, we bring it back to you. And then that's the adoption hearing. So, and if there's anything that needs to be changed in between now and then, on your behalf, we can make those changes too. We just have to list it when we go to adopt it. So the state clearly knows what we changed when we send it adopted to them.
Okay.
But then after that, it's just a comment amendment to fix anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, anything I saw, anything involving spacing and all that business, and you explained that at the last meeting, that all the red has to go in, so when the red comes out, things change, paint, things on various paint something kind of change, so.
They do, it will, as you know, when you take the circular line off, it brings in the stuff that was deleted, it all pushes the pages up. So page numbers change, the spacing will change, some of this, the weird spacing, I don't know where, how.
So when did we add future land use element in front of it?
So we've got to identify these somehow. And so the way I said, we've left each element has a goal. There, we start with goal one, and then each policies and everything after that, different policies are then unique, like future land use element is all one, housing element, transportation, they all have numbers that, y'all requested so they'd be unique. The goals is we would have too many 1.1.1.1 if we were making each goal unique. So what we did was set at the very beginning so you know where they're at with the future land use element. That's goal one. And we did it with each element.
Gotcha.
Do you want to go through and do you need to, do you want him to point out the changes? I know the list in here would be helpful if he points them out, or is everybody good with?
And so, what I did, after our meeting, I went through and went back through and, basically I, made a list and we went back through and did every one of those, created this table. And so there was a couple, like in the conservation element, that, you had brought them up. Some of those policies, and they are, as I mentioned, they are very they're beyond what the city actually can do. They're more state related. And so we went back and made sure if we fixed those and took them out, that it didn't affect any part of the statute. And they didn't. Those, we already had policies in there. Those were beyond what the statute requires, so we removed them. And they also went into permitting, like TEP, Farm Environmental Protection permitting, which the city has no part of. And so we just went ahead and removed all of them. Those couple policies, we were able to just remove them. And then there was a policy too, the transportation element that the city was asking about with that list of roads. And so I took the list out, reworded that entire policy itself, and then loved it. But all those little, things that you had mentioned, we went through and corrected and fixed. And then,
Anybody have any specific questions on any of the changes?
I have two questions. I got page numbers.
okay.
Page 42. Sorry if that was in the old version of 42. I can find what's up. I was thinking I was prepared. Where we have policy 7.2.1.9, we dropped, the 7 didn't make it onto there for that policy.
What page is that on?
I'm verifying right now, ma'am. It was supposed to be 42. It is page 42. Right now it's just labeled as policy 2.1.9. It didn't have the leading 7 for the element.
Okay.
And then also in that same one, that same policy, we have, we mentioned when the Northwest Florida Hurricane Evacuation Study of 2004 is updated. So that was 20 years or 22 years ago, and has that not been updated in 22 years?
Yeah, what was the next one? I'm sorry.
Same one, it's still on that same policy.
Okay.
Just the end of it mentions about the study from 2004.
Okay, so
Published.
if you look back at your previous version, this has been updated, and we took that out, and we added in the new stuff. But as I mentioned in our last workshop, I added back in what's actually required for your hurricane evacuation times, which is, based on the new study. The only problem is, it's going to be a conflict with Senate Bill 180 that, we had talked about. And so I took it and put it back. So if you look in your previous version, you'll see this was changed.
Yeah, you had it, what's in this current draft, completely redlined and had a whole thing, and we took that out. But we just put back in the old one, and
Yes.
again, it still reflects back to waiting on something from 2004.
Yes, because if because the Senate Bill 180, I'm not going to be able to, we've got to have this policy in here. It doesn't have to reference the 2004 study, but that was the previous data. The new study, the hurricane times are greater, so they're going to consider that to be in violation of 180. That's going to be more burdensome than the previous. And so it's one of those things where we're kind of stuck until Senate Bill,
Right, you said later this year.
180, and I did see some legislation
There's a
proposed.
bill out there, that's what I was gonna say, there is a bill that wants to pull back on some of that language.
And it would free this stuff,
Mhm.
that would be in direct conflict with statute. And this is a statute thing, this is statutory. The city is supposed to do this, but we can't at this point. We can, I can send it, but they're gonna throw the compound out over it.
Right after we get, let's say they go through and they get rid of Senate Bill 180. Are we gonna need to come up and do
Yes.
this?
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I think Mr. Griggs had asked about that. Because I also have the military overlay districts that we did for Kendall,
Right.
that we need to add in, but we cannot add them in because they are more burdensome. So we need to add that in, we need to fix some of the stuff that we are not able to fix. We can all do it, we can do it through another amendment as soon as, 180 is. They either remove North Florida from it, or like they're proposing, saying that the statutory requirements doesn't affect it. It expires in 2028. It's set to expire, but there is legislation being proposed to.
Yeah. But they're up for maybe June
Yeah.
2026, they go away or something,
Yes.
so we just keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, and it's just, this is affecting pipelines across the entire state.
Ray, two more questions for you. Change 74 for the private property rights element. We started with goal 1 and renamed it there, which isn't consistent with the rest of the way we've written it. Everything else just started with goal 1 because the title's already right above it.
Yeah, the objective says 10.1, did you say 1.1?
No, it still says 10.1 because we're in element 10.
Is that how they're doing?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
But the goal there, the numbering wasn't quite the same, but it also, like I said, instead of just saying goal, it has words before it.
Yeah, we put that's all of it.
Oh, you've done that throughout some other stuff. Never mind.
Yeah, we did on each one.
Did I?
Okay. The call, we put the element in front of it.
Okay.
Just so you would
And the
know.
last thing, last week, we were talking about comp plan 2045, and now we've updated to 46, gives us a 20-year.
It's a 20, so, and I was going to mention that too, glad you brought that up. We're now in 26, we have to have a minimum, and this is some legislation that was passed in the last couple of years, where you have to, before you only had to plan out 10 years, minimum of 10 years, now it's a minimum of 20. So, because if we were to send it at 25, we'd been okay, but because now it's 26, we technically don't have a 26 planning period, so I have updated also, I didn't have time to give it to you for this meeting, but updated the data analysis to reflect 26. So we went through and added and changed it from 2045 to 2046. So we could be 20 years out.
That was all my questions.
Anybody else have anything?
Page 1, policy 1.1.2, section 2, low density residential density. I'm not sure why you repeat the density, but acronym needs to put in the LDR.
I think, LDR is land development regulation.
It is, but, or it should reflect what your chart does on page 5. So if you call it an RLD or an RHD or whatever, I think that corresponds, correct?
Yeah, well, the chart on page 5, and we talked about this in our last workshop,
Mhm.
that's actually, this chart is from a stipulated settlement agreement off a land use change that was done back in like 2002, 2003.
Mhm.
The state, this was negotiated between, at that time, we were in the Department of Community Affairs and the city. And the applicants, they had all these land use changes they made. So this is actually in there per the stipulated settlement agreement. And so, because, it was brought up about the density numbers and stuff. And because this was done for stipulated settlement, if we change it, then this would reflect the
I'm
agreement.
going to change the chart, but instead of low density residential, change to residential low density to reflect what your chart is. And you get rid of the last density. And then you can do residential medium density, and that will reflect if it's in the chart. I don't see it, but you do have high density. And that's on the next page. So just put residential out in front.
So you want to do acronyms for the land use category.
Right, because it explains what that is if you do it correctly here on page 1.
Because I don't think we've done that through the comp plan, but I mean, I can have it.
Yeah, that's the only place I saw it. So do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're talking about adding the acronyms for the residential,
And
or
put it in the correct order, but residential low density.
Well, they don't match, is
Oh, I
what
see.
he's saying right now. Between that chart and here, they use different terms for the same thing.
Yeah, it's just making it match and making it easier to understand.
I see.
I guess I didn't come across correctly last time.
You good on that?
On that page, are we good?
It's only on that page 1, now, what you got on page 2?
Right, page 4, policy 1.1.9. You have SPA number 4. I think that's SAP number 4.
That's how it's listed on mine, it's SAP. It says SAP. In the second sentence. Second sentence.
Yeah. It says SPA.
Autocorrect.
And this is where I had a question about the SAP's special area plan. We don't have a map for that in the back. Should we have something that reflects these SAPs? Just a question. Because I went through our maps in the back and I didn't see SAP in there.
Yeah, it's not on there.
Should we have a map in the back?
And we can, I'll go back and pull, I can pull this where it was originally done too. I mean,
Yeah,
that's-
you might be able to add one of the other maps back there and say, hey, this is the SAP 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah, because this was, as I mentioned, this was a large scale land use neighborhood.
Yes, sir.
So they had to be a map or whatever to identify them.
Okay, page 10, policy. And 7, it says capabilities. Should that be capacity?
I'm sorry, which policy?
Policy 1.7.1. It says capabilities, hurricane evacuation capabilities. And I think it should say capacity.
I mean, it could be either way. Capabilities would be, I mean, it's a level of service to evacuate, it's a number of hours. It's the hours that are set to evacuate.
Take a look at it, and you make the determination. It just, when I read it, capabilities didn't make any sense, but the capacity made sense.
I think capabilities reads normal to me though, like you said, it's the level of service that's being provided, not how many people necessarily live in the home.
Just take a look at it, see what you think. Page 15. Okay, you have peak hour level of service. Where do we explain what D, and E stand for?
That's actually defined by DOT, the transportation, but it's not in here. It's actually, those are level service numbers, they're volumes that are in the, D is a level service volume.
Right, I understand what they are, should we explain what those are if we're gonna list them?
They're in the data analysis.
But that's not part of this.
We make policy and just list what they are. Or we could probably have it through this table actually. Because it's a range. It's a level.
I figured it was a range. Well, I'm looking at it, I'm trying to range them.
Yeah, I think it'd be the easiest way, just add it to the table.
Okay,
It'd be the easiest way to do that.
thank you, sir. Let's see, page 17. Five dot 2.5.4, updating the Ped Bike Trail Master Plan. I've heard of that.
Yeah, that's the TPO has it.
TPO does, that's way reflects it.
And they're actually updating it right now.
Yeah, we're in the middle of it right now.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, we was hoping it'd be done so we could just add it in, the new stuff, but it wasn't finished.
Page 18. Let's see. Policy 1. It'll be 3.1.3. Right here, we go into, the city will provide land use designations for multifamily housing structures, which allow construction for housing units for very low, moderate income families. Now that's good, but the explanation of what that means doesn't come until 8.1. So shouldn't that explanation come first instead of later on? 3.8.1.
Yeah, we can leave it up. 'Cause
I would, yeah, because that's the first time you see it, and then later on you can just reference it.
See, at the end of it, let's see 8 dot.
You can do that if you wanted to.
At the end of it, you
But
can
if
put
you
C.
changed one of those, then you have to do the references back and forth, so it's best just to do that. I thought about that too, but that way we wouldn't have to correct it if we make one change or delete one of them.
So move the explanation up to that one, then on 8.1, put C.
You could do that.
Yeah,
3.1.3.
But just take a look at that.
yeah, I can leave it up. This is all statutory. I mean, this is all that's required by Chapter 162 to have in the housing.
Okay.
He's just looking at it, and layman person looks at it, I mean, it's a lot, you knew what it was, I didn't. So,
Yeah, you know, some of those things just come to you as you're looking through it, and like, we've had this before. Here you go. 3. Need that changed.
What else you got, Commissioner?
I'm going through it.
Okay.
Going to be quick. I like the way you did goal, objectives, and policies of the sanitary sewer sub-element. But I think that's one of the first times you did that. Would that be useful to put that right after each of the elements? To say goal, objectives, and policies for the infrastructure element or something like that, so it would give the reader an idea how you're gonna break them out. And if you don't wanna do that, that's fine.
What page?
That's page 24.
Yeah, the infrastructure element, so it's one element, but it's got the sub-elements in it. There's a reason that it's listed that way. It was listed that way in the original plan. We just left it in that element, just so you know when you change to the next sub-element inside the overall
Yeah.
infrastructure.
I recognize that too. This is one of those areas on policy 1.5.1.1. You see Callaway hereby adopts 80 gallons per capita per day as a level of service for wastewater treatment. But later on, you say we're gonna do 120 gallons per day per capita for potable water. So should they kind of equal each other?
No,
Because one of them's a half, again, more than the other.
yeah, we were gonna fix these numbers. And this is one of the things I can't change. Like, we have your new water and sewer data,
Yes, sir.
and so this isn't so much correct anymore, but this is an area with Senate Bill 1A. If I change it, they'll throw the comp plan out. They just did.
Is that too restrictive? Is that
Yes.
it?
They just
So
did
if
Port
you
St.
made
Joe's
one
and
of-
Lynn
So if you made one of them less restrictive, but
Yeah, one
now
was
it's
less
the two. So you say one.
But- And now one is wastewater and
Yes.
one is potable water, and so they're not the same level of service.
Okay.
Which,
But if
Water.
you're given 120 gallons of potable water, would you expect 120 gallons to go into the sewer? Because, I mean,
no,
you
because
have
of irrigation.
extra
Yeah, the
going
potable
into
water,
sewer.
if you look at what the city actually runs at, what they average, your potable water, your usage is higher than what you'll take in through the wastewater.
Okay.
And it's like that, all the cities are like that.
Okay.
Just because of,
More of an educational thing for me, so.
yeah, irrigation.
yeah, it's irrigation and the different uses of water that doesn't line back up in the sewer.
Fire department. Fire department.
Remove that. So that's it, you went through and tried to fix all the acronym areas, found a ton of them afterwards, and then back looked at them again.
You found more since the update?
Yeah, well, you know, for flu, it's spelled out all over the place, and LDR is spelled out all over the place. But then you go back to LDR, then you go back to land development regulation. So,
And I know, and I tried to fix some of my planner that's been working on this.
Yeah,
It's been trying to catch it, and it's all over the company.
it is.
Or something's not, an acronym is spelled out. So now, if you could,
Actually, I gotta do that.
huh?
Actually, I gotta do that.
Mine.
Find and replace. That's it, find and replace.
Yeah. And hopefully it does it correctly.
You don't hit correct dollars, you look at each one of them. Yes, accept.
And if you have a list of them, I mean, I'll be glad to,
Oh, they're all over the place.
I mean, if you had some, or if you have it marked.
What I did, you know, because it didn't get some time to really go over it thoroughly, so I just went over the other ones more thoroughly.
Oh, gotcha.
So
So you should check to make sure.
that's why I'm having to go back and
I'm
forth.
instructed right now.
Oh, yeah. So on page 38, you're going to review this, and I see you made a bunch of changes. So that's, everybody good with those in 38?
Yeah, so some of these are the, this is the policies that doesn't have to be in there, they're over restricted.
Mm-hmm.
And so we adjusted, some of them, are recommended to be adjusted.
All right, page 40, policy 7.6.1. It says, as part of achieving future land use element objectives, 1.6. Last time I checked, there was no 1.6.
Where you at?
Page 40, policy 7.6.1. So I went back and looked for it, couldn't find it. So in the other documents, so if it's not in that one, it's not gonna be in this one. So you could probably just eliminate the 1.6 and just take a look at it and read it.
You know, I'm looking forward to that.
Figure out what's it.
Yeah, it's there.
Objective 1.6 on page 10.
Okay. Now I did go back and look for that.
That's on page 10.
It was. You know, page 10 of the other document where it was referenced, there is no objective, you know, there is an objective 6, but not a 1.6.
Oh, that's because we added the one for being the first element, where we added the element numbers.
Okay,
That's why.
so that's gonna match up now?
It does.
Okay. Thank you. On page 42. Let's see, did you get that? You may have deleted that totally. So what I was looking at in this, there's a 12-hour evacuation time listed for Cat 5.
Mhm.
And then in a previous objective, objective 9, so that.
Yeah, we updated that, but we had taken it back out because of the Senate bill
Gotcha.
180, because it's more,
Okay.
they would find it more burdensome if we tried to adopt the current standard.
So in objective 7.9, you say maintain roadway clearance time for hurricane evacuation of 17 hours for a Cat 3 storm at high tourist occupancy. But you don't list Cat 4 or Cat 5. And when I referenced the other that you deleted, you referenced the Cat 5 there and the time period. Should you list the other ones?
No, because,
Somewhere.
again, that's Senate Bill 180, trying to fix, I understand what you're saying, but trying to fix it, it's gonna it's gonna trigger.
It's gonna make it worse.
Yeah.
So should you delete it
No, because we have to have it in here.
for a cat 3?
No, we have to have hurricane evacuation lines.
Okay, but you could eliminate the cat 3 part.
Yeah, I would recommend leaving it like it is until we get past Senate Bill 180.
Okay.
I would recommend,
But that's maybe an area we need to go back and look at.
well, we need to strike all this and add the actual stuff that applies, based on the new code. That new language, the language that was in the other previous document is what needs to be back in here once Senate Bill 180 is gone.
Okay.
We need to add that back, which is what the county evacuates at. And that time's set by the state.
Page 45.
So, Ray, you got anyone ready to go when he comes out?
No, I got all the
I'm seeing
overlays.
some dollar signs right now.
All the overlays.
Can we just extended the old one out 2 or 3 years until we get past 180? I feel like we're gonna be redoing this again completely.
Oh, it's a mess. I mean, it's so bad because it's prohibiting you from updating your comp plan. I mean, and it's like this all over the state. It is ridiculous. I mean, what's going on, how Senate Bill 180 is being implemented. I mean, I don't understand the theory behind what they tied it to, but I mean, they're grabbing all the comp plans.
Okay. Page 44, objective 7.1. 7.16. Says incorporate the recommendations of the local mitigation strategy into the comp plan within 1 year of its adoption. Do we want to obligate ourselves to do that?
Yeah, basically you've done this, and if you want, I can take that back out. We took them out of the rest of them.
I would take that out.
And I can just put it back to what it was. We did it on the rest of them, where there was dates. I'll just take it out.
There's one thing I thought about while I'm going through all this. There's a bunch of terms in here that are kind of hard to understand. Would it be beneficial to put a short page of definitions for terms that we're using that are not common? Like concurrency. That was just an example. You also add you have some Latin terms in here, I think. Amendum or whatever in here. Instead of using Latin, maybe go to the English, unless you're required to use the Latin.
Yeah, let's see where it was referenced. Now, chapter 163 does have a definition section of most of these terms. Remember, this comp plan is based on chapter 163.
Of the state statute.
Yeah, Florida statutes. That's what they require, each one of these elements and the structure of what's in them is required by chapter 163.
Okay,
Florida statute. And there's a definition section.
okay. Do we reference that in here? That if you need definitions, go to state statute, whatever?
No, I mean, some comp plans will have definition sections, some of them don't. You actually have an acronym section though.
Yeah, I like it.
I mean, we can add, if you want the definition section, I can add the definition from 163 into, in a page just like after the acronym page. If that's something you don't want.
Do you know if it's very lengthy?
It's several pages.
You just take it right out of the statute.
Yeah.
Or you can just do a
That's what I
line
just
saying
wanted
for
to do.
definitions reference chapter 163.
Yeah,
That's what I'm doing.
yeah,
Instead of trying to.
Writing statement.
yes, instead of attaching pages of definitions.
Thank you.
Yes, and
I
I
appreciate
can,
it. I'm just trying to be thorough.
no, that's all right. I appreciate you reading it.
Yeah, it's
And-
rough and slow.
I can add that actually to the acronym, at the bottom acronym page, probably,
Yeah, be
Yeah,
good.
just probably see a statement
for
for
definition.
definitions, see, it's a statute.
Look it up.
Pretty much.
Yeah, me and Z.
And, if you like more input, now I got this one, I can go through that thoroughly and see if the acronyms are all included and so forth.
Yeah, I mean, if you find anything, I'll do what that says. Let the change.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time.
We need that by Thursday.
Sir,
We need that by Thursday.
Thursday,
Because it's on the agenda.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I'll go back.
And I think that's great. I mean, I'm not joking, I'm just saying we need to change.
How about questions for the city
Right.
manager? That's different from this, so.
You said you have something. I know you said, do you have anything, Mr. Graves?
No.
So everybody up here is good. Did anybody in the audience? I know we've got one. Come up, Mr. Bohat. Come up to the microphone.
It's lenient.
Oh, you don't want to go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Lenient, that doesn't.
No.
cover
You
the
don't want to.
No, I'm trying to make sure my computer don't go nowhere.
Keep wanting to slide off.
Although at 70 Kenny Pike Lane, I have two sections I wish to address. The first is in the conservation element, the second is in the coastal management element. And I have to confess, there was a third one that came out as a result of the discussion this afternoon. The first is policy 6.6.1 in the conservation element.
Page,
I don't know.
page 31.
Thank you. It includes the following statement. Development activities which will destroy identified wildlife or marine habitat shall be restricted through the use of enforceable development agreement or appropriate mitigation measures. My questions are, who defines, who measures, with what instrument or tools, and approves such appropriate mitigation measures? There's no explanation, definition, or description. My second question.
Let's take it one at a time.
One at a time. I would think that'd be a state issue.
So I see you've lined through the pursuant to the rules from the Florida statute and the admin codes. Is that what's enforcing those, Ray?
I would like to know.
No, that's just how
That's
the
not in
development
there.
agreement. So it's not gonna have anything specifically to do with habitat.
Say again?
The statutory reference that was marked down is just how to do a development agreement.
So
That's
what's
what the
the
subject.
development agreement? That's the agreement part.
Yeah, I think he's just asking who, does the city really?
Yeah, the city does,
measure
I
and
thought.
habitat?
This is one of them. Thought I amended more of it. Again, now, I don't, that getting into the whole mitigation stuff, that's the stuff that needs to come out.
Well,
I mean, we
that
don't,
would satisfy me. I don't want to see any sort of mitigation personally.
no, but it's the state that makes that decision.
That's not a state.
And I apologize, I thought I got those policies. Is this one of them that you gave me the list on?
I asked about mitigation.
Yeah, and somehow this didn't get updated.
Okay.
I have the list.
now.
Yes, I have your list, so I can make this change and send it back. I can send you this policy back too, I have to look at the whole thing. I'll make that edit. I thought that was me. I got your list.
Yeah, you got
And
the list.
we corrected you. Everything was in your list after the last meeting.
Okay. All right. Second, objectives 7.2 and 7.3 in the coastal management.
37.
They're both on the same page, I believe it's page 38.
37.
37.
All right, start over. Which one?
7.2 and 7.3, they're both objectives. They both state very simply, assist in the protection of sea grasses and shorelines. My concern is the lack of specificity, since the term assist is subject to considerable interpretation. And my question is, who decides if the assist is or is not adequate?
State.
And how will they do so? Who's going to define it, determine it, measure it? I mean, surely there's got to be something other than assist.
My understanding was the two policies below it are showing how we have achieved that objective, and it deals with.
Well, I read the two policies below it, and I still couldn't, in my mind, see how.
So we don't develop shorelines.
Pardon?
We got it right there.
What's that?
We can't give permission to develop
Not
shoreline.
below the mean hot water.
We only go to a certain spot.
Yeah.
After that, anything they want to do in that area, they have to get permits from the state. So then that goes, we're out of it. It's not ours.
So the thing that we're doing to assist is preventing the sewage. Yeah, the first one, don't put septic tanks over there, don't put your sewer collection system there. That's what the city can do, that's what's in the policy. And then same thing in the next one is, what do? We can coordinate with the other local governments. So, yeah.
And this is required.
Yeah, I think the answer to this question is, how are we assisting? By doing policy below.
Okay, so y'all are satisfied that that resolves the issue? Okay.
That's all we can do.
Well, I mean,
Third is,
we're still back to the same thing. When you get to the mean high water line,
yeah,
you can't go on the other side of it. That's not us.
all right.
So we can only develop.
But what we can do is prevent septic tanks from going
Yeah,
on our
we
side.
can say.
And that's what we're doing.
On our side,
That's
we say,
what
okay,
also
this is how
says.
we can't do this because we don't want it to go under the water. But when it gets to that water line, if they want to develop out, put in a dock, put in sheet piles to protect the shoreline, all those permits come through the state.
All right, so in that context, then the assist becomes providing whatever information is required or necessary to facilitate the acquisition of those permits.
No, we don't assist in that. They go to the state, they get their own permits.
Then the assist becomes ensuring compliance with the requirements of that permit.
Yeah, well, like 7.3.2, the assist is cooperating with DEP, Fish and Wildlife, or Freshwater Fish Commission, Water Management District. That's how we assist. We coordinate with those state agencies.
Okay, that answers my question. All right, the third, which was raised during this discussion, is I take exception to Commissioner Ayers' request that they eliminate objective 7.16 and 7.161. Because I think those are both related to policy 7.15.2, parens 1 on page 44. which requires the formation of an ad hoc recovery task force to coordinate decision-making not related to short-term recovery efforts.
Let's start from the top. Where did you start with that I eliminated?
Policy 7.15.2, parens 1, page 44.
I don't remember deleting that. When was that?
You objected to and recommended the deletion of objective 7.16. Incorporate the recommendations of the local mitigation.
He just asked to get rid of the 1 year, the 1 year time limit. He just wanted to get rid of the 1 year time limit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did.
he didn't eliminate
Oh.
anything, just so we
Just
don't.
don't
Yeah,
tire
just
it.
remove it.
I misheard that. Okay.
Fine.
Not one of the local mitigation effort to remain.
Oh, yeah, yeah, it is
Oh,
part of
okay.
that statute.
Okay. Thank you. You did good. All right, I'm done. Thank you.
I was trying to make sure we could.
Already done.
Yeah, okay.
Would anybody else in the public like to speak? Come on up.
I'm gonna reference is, what was it, the 6.6.1? When the Florida statute was removed, and also the Florida Administrative Code's Rule 17.312. That rule, the 17-3.312, it refers to working with the DEP and the mitigation and stuff. So maybe we should leave that administrative code in that one, since it references the rule.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some more of that stuff out. That policy, I'm gonna rewrite that policy. That policy did get rewritten. That's the one he brought
On
up.
the 6.6.1.
Yeah, he's gonna totally redo that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewrite it.
Well, right, but we're asking about it, and you said it didn't reference that, but,
Oh, no, it's the
That's
163.
163 is just
It's a
about
development agreement.
well, right, but the other part is marked through T, so I just wanted to clarify that maybe we should leave that administrative code rule in there. When you rewrite it, it reflects the same thing. And then my next question is, and I can already kind of tell my answer from the comments and some of the questions is, I just would like to know how many of you reviewed the corrections that were sent to make sure all of them were made? Or just instead of coming here and going, sir, did you make all the changes that we asked? You know what I mean? How many read it to make sure and reviewed all of it to make sure that the changes were made?
I can tell you, I took my copy from the other day where I had marked changes, and I went through and looked, that's how I noticed that the spacing still looked funny. And then I went to the list that he provided of the changes, and matched that back. I mean, I picked this up on the weekend, so I had time to go through it.
But I was just curious because I know that from some of the comments, it's pretty clear that some people didn't review it all. But I think it would have been important to review it to make sure everything was changed. Coming here, taking someone's word for it because, you know, as you know, that mistakes do happen, typos happen. They need to be corrected as well. And this is how I believe some of our issues happen, you know, with our contracts, with our, you know, throughout the time is nobody says, hey, let's change this, and nobody checks to make sure that the changes are actually made until there's a problem and we might be facing a lawsuit, so.
I compared mine online against my notes, you know, so that's where.
No, and I appreciate y'all taking the time and going through that. It is very important, you know, for the city, and I really appreciate y'all looking through it.
Anybody else has anything to say? So this will be on our I guess the first reading will be on our agenda this coming Tuesday.
The transmit.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be the transmit, the proposed plan.
And then after we vote on that, then it will be sent to the state to go to whoever.
Ashley, can we have the motion right on that agenda item?
I will make sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to make sure we have the motion right,
Yeah, to transfer.
so that we
Yeah,
can
I
read
need
it,
to,
make a motion to transmit.
Yes.
yeah.
So,
And that would be the first reading of that.
Okay, so if everybody's good,
Motion to adjourn.
we will adjourn. Thank you, public, for coming and hanging out with us.